Welcome, Kabir. How are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm feeling really good. How are you doing?
All right, all right. So, here's my first question for you. All right, this is it's not an interview, but I will be asking you some questions, okay?
Okay.
What struggles and
Okay.
problems have you had when dealing with playing games with siblings?
Um, Usually since they're all a lot younger than me, they don't really take a loss really well.
Oh, so they're
They'll,
sore losers.
yeah, and then also start screaming a lot and they lose.
Did they start
Um,
crying
you
too?
know, yeah. One
And that's
time
when they're playing
actually,
with you?
yeah, sometimes like one time when I was in sixth grade, I was playing this game called Injustice: Gods Among Us against my younger brother, and for a while he picked this one character that had this machine gun, and it was really hard to dodge the machine gun.
Mm-hmm.
And he beat me many times with that character. It was a Deathstroke, and then I finally got the rhythm down to dodge all the gunfire, and I beat him. And he didn't get a single hit on me, and he was so angry that he threw the controller on the ground, and the controller broke.
Oh my God. Okay.
And the funny thing was, my cousin was there and he recorded the whole thing on camera.
I don't know if that's that funny, but okay. Okay.
Um,
And
but stuff like that, yeah.
yeah, so I'm guessing there's more stories like that. But did you ever fix these problems? Did like now when you play with your siblings, do they still have those problems, or are you guys better about it, or has it just not changed?
With my middle brother, yeah, it's better. Um, he doesn't really play video games with me as much anymore, but when he does, it's like we're having fun. With my youngest brother, either I'm lying to him because he doesn't understand what's going on, and I told him he won, and
Oh,
then
I
he feels
see.
good, or I just don't care and I just beat his, and he starts crying and complaining.
Okay. So you think as they get older, like naturally, they just grow out of it, out of that sore loser phase.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't actually have to do anything to fix the problem.
Yeah, I guess so. Like about the time they reach like middle school to high school, they're
Oh,
fine.
really? Okay, so they just kind of, I guess your middle brother matured, and then the younger one still has yet to mature.
Yeah.
And you never really get mad at them when you play games, right? Or do you sometimes get mad at them?
Um, Not because of the game itself.
But because
Usually
of what?
because of, um, well, I get mad when playing with my youngest brother because he like says a lot of stupid stuff while I'm playing, and
Like what
it's
stupid
like
stuff does he say?
he says he says that's true. Hold on, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, like okay,
Is it
so
things
sometimes he
that
watches
like
me
a
play.
little kid should be saying or not?
Um, some of it no, most of it like I can see a little kid saying it, but it's like really stupid, and I just want to stop saying it.
And you tell him to stop
So
saying it, and then
like
he kid keeps on saying it.
I just say like stop being an idiot.
Oh, okay.
Um, but like okay, I'll give an example. Sometimes I'm playing a game and he watches me play and he says, "Let me play this game. I'm better than you at it," but he's never played it before.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, "Can you shut your mouth? Like, because you're being an idiot right now." You know?
And then that gets him mad too.
Well, yeah, I don't think he gets it mad. It just makes him like kind of like sad. Like he's like like,
You made him
"Oh, I'm not."
sad.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's like kind of being delusional. I'm just trying to tell him like that's not correct at all. Like you never even played this game. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay.
And because he's really a stubborn guy, really like prideful, kind of full of himself. And I just want to keep that a little lower. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you think he'll just grow out of that when he gets older?
I hope he does. My little brother, the thing was he didn't really have that many things that he was like full of himself for.
Oh, I see.
Um, I don't know, but my youngest, we'll have to just see. I guess.
Okay.
I'm assuming if he's like, like a normal functioning guy, he'll be fine.
Okay. So I guess you kind of have faith that he'll fix it on his own without you having to help him.
Yeah, and through school and stuff, like just hanging out around with people his age.
Yeah. And so you think the people his age right now, I don't know, how old is he?
Um, um, uh, Give me one
Do
second.
you know how old your brother is?
Oh yeah, he's 8.
Okay. So do you think other kids that are 8 years old have the same problems as him?
Um, I think some kids his age are a lot better at this
Oh,
stuff
really?
and like don't have the problem. It's just like like you'll have kids that are like exceptionally like well behaved
Yeah.
and like and really well mannered and like I don't know. I feel like there's a bunch his age that are like that, but compared to the whole population, maybe that's not too common.
So have you seen his friends? Like, have they come over and played with him before?
They play outside. Yeah, I've seen them. They've never been too. Yeah, I think they're pretty behaved actually. Yeah.
Oh, really? So then it just happens that your brother is less behaved than them, less well behaved.
Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, you'd think that he would take after his friends, but I guess not.
I think he has a lot of pride in himself. That, like is not really checked. And the thing is, he's also a lot smarter than his friends, and he's a lot more does a lot of more advanced things than his friends.
You
So
mean
he
in
just
terms of
has this like
academics?
yeah.
Oh, I see.
So he has like this sense of pride that like I think just being in that closed bubble gives him like a right to act that way.
Uh-huh. And you don't think his friends have pride problems, really?
No, at least not in front of me. I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay. I don't remember if I had arrogance problems as a little kid. I feel like all little kids to some degree think that they're better at something than everyone else, right? But maybe not everything, like you say your brother is.
Yeah, he specifically thinks he's better at people at art and math.
Art and math.
Um,
Oh, I see.
I
And
think
that,
I think he's a lot better. Sorry, what?
no, go ahead.
I think he's a lot better than most at art. His age. I think he
Yeah.
definitely is. Yeah. Math. I think he's just like above average. I don't know. I think he's a little too full of himself.
Okay, so now about you. Have you ever thought that video games impacted you negatively? You know, at some point, you think they were like hurting you or making you unhealthy or anything like that?
Um, Multiple times
Really?
I thought that because of the abuse of games,
What do you mean the abuse of games?
like playing games way too much.
So when did you
Um,
play games way too much?
when I was like 10 years old, that's when I started recognizing. Sometimes I would play games way too much. Like people would come over to my house, or I would be at someone else's house, and the whole time I was just playing on my iPad or on my computer, like Roblox and some random crap.
Oh, I
And then
see. And that was while your friends were over trying
then
to hang out with you?
yeah, or just like family friends would come over, and I didn't really say a single word to them, and then
Like,
they'll leave, and I'll realize why I didn't say a single thing to them.
because you were just in your room playing games the whole time?
Yeah, and then when I was in sixth sixth grade, I moved from Florida to Virginia,
Yeah.
and that summer, like I knew like literally no one, and I was in this new townhouse. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was a really shitty one too. It was, that place sucked, but okay, whatever. That's besides the point. And in like this neighborhood, which there's a lot of people my brother's age, but like none my age, or there might have been people my age, but they just didn't go outside. So I knew like no one,
I
and
see.
I would just be on my computer playing like Roblox and stuff, making YouTube videos and stuff, and
So you think
like
video
at the end
games
of
kind of replaced friends in your life at that point?
yeah, because a lot of times I would just go in Roblox and I would make friends on Roblox, and
And were these
a
like
lot of
real
them were
friends,
people.
or were they just, people who you never really talked to ever?
I had three friends, I would say, from real life that I'll play on Roblox from Florida, but the rest were just random people online that I would keep seeing every day.
Oh, I see. And I guess it's hard because you moved in the summer, right? So you didn't have the school year to make friends.
Yeah, and then another thing is that kind of messed up my brain a little too, like my ability to interact with people because also, I don't know, spending that much time alone and like having my only friends be like these Roblox friends, my like uh my communication level was a little way lower than what it should have been since I was just used to these people in Roblox. And then when I went to seventh grade. Looking back, I think I was really poor at communication, like, and I'm just awkward, and also like I don't know. I tried different ways to like fit in, and that was really a struggle. And a lot of times it just ended up with me doing a lot of stupid things to be funny, um, or me just like not knowing how to talk.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, did you have the same problem in COVID though, when you were by yourself again, or was it different that time?
In COVID, I actually didn't play video games as much, mainly because my parents took away a lot of my ability to play video games. Like a lot of my gaming consoles and stuff were taken. Um, so anytime I would play games, it was mostly just like a single player game
Oh, I see.
or I just wasn't talking to anyone. It was just me by myself
So
playing
do you
games.
think
Other
that
times I was just
was
on
helpful that
a
your
Discord.
parents took away your games?
Um,
In the long run, I mean.
I feel like that wasn't my biggest issue with the games, and I actually kind of wish I had games during that era.
Okay, to
So
like keep you
no.
occupied and also
Yeah, and
to play
also
with your
like there's a lot
friends.
of yeah, there's just a lot of games that I'm looking back now. I'm like, I really wish I played this back then, especially during COVID. Like, and I'll give some examples here. Like, a lot of good single player games. These are old, but I
Hmm.
think during COVID, when I was like really isolated and stuff, these games would have been like a good mental, uh, kind of like a therapy, I guess. Just like
Oh, okay,
games
that's
like Skyrim,
interesting.
and stuff. Like, I played them way later, and I realized like I just love like the art and like the creativity and the open world. It just seems so lifelike and so interesting. And I just wish I could play that during COVID.
That's actually pretty cool. I never thought that people regretted not being able to play games at some point. I think that makes sense though, because during COVID, I mean, what else were you gonna do? You could have started your own project, I guess, but if you're just a high schooler, all you want to do is play games, right? So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but
I
this
feel
is like a
like
little different. Like, yeah, what were you saying?
no, go ahead.
Um, I mean a little differently though, because like games like Skyrim and stuff, which are like single player, like these aren't like I would say there's two types of games. Like one type of game where it's like grindy and like it's really quick pace, like Fortnite and stuff, where you're just doing the same thing over and over, and or like
Yeah.
League of Legends, where it's like matchmaking, but the basic premise is you're doing the same thing over and over and over. You're not
Yeah.
exploring. You're not checking out like this cool world that someone thought of and created, like an artist. All these artists created. Someone wrote this story.
Hmm.
With these single player games like Skyrim, like it's like reading novels kind of, but like a visual form.
Yeah, I actually agree. I think story games are like that.
Yeah, and with Skyrim, with games like Skyrim, which have like so much lore to them, it's like learning history, like an alternate version of history, like a fictional version, obviously, but with much more, I guess, involvement and immersion than like real life. You know, like in real life, you can't see empires like the Roman Empire and stuff because you're stuck in this house. You have like a job, or you have to study and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
With these video games, you can, even though it's a fictional world, you can really like get to explore, and I just think it's really fun. And I feel like playing 4 hours of that and exploring all these new different worlds, that is fulfilling.
Okay, so it sounds like you actually use video games as like a de-stressor or as like a way of just exploring or letting loose, kind of.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's good. So that means you actually think that video games do have some benefit to people.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I actually think so too. Like a lot of the times after a really long midterm week, like the only thing I want to do is just go play a game because I know that doesn't take much thinking and it's fun and it's relaxing. So yeah, that's good. That's interesting that you actually think that they can be good for you. I think yeah, there's a lot of like bad attention towards video games and then not many people actually think about how they can sometimes be good for you.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I'm surprised you think that, honestly, but that's good. Okay, have you ever had the problem of a social media addiction? So I guess aside from video games, did you ever become addicted to TikTok or Instagram at some point? Like you would scroll TikTok for hours on end.
I'll say right now, I have a bit of a Instagram addiction. It's just
Okay.
any time that there's no school happening and I'm like at home for many hours, I have a social media addiction, and it's just because like there's not much going on, or like there's not much that's like distracting enough to like take me away from social media with like school and stuff, or like me walking to classes and stuff. There's just not time for me to go on my phone all the time and look
Yeah,
at Instagram
exactly.
and stuff when I'm alone at home. Like that's like the easiest thing to look at, you know?
So if you're bored, you instantly just turn to Instagram or something to cure that boredom.
Yeah, it's like the first thought. It's like I want to like. It's like what's it?
Instinct? Habit?
Yeah, muscle memory to
Oh,
just
muscle
like
memory.
just look at Instagram, see if there's anything, someone sent me a new message, or if there's some new post that
Yeah.
from someone I was expecting. You know?
So you
Yeah,
think the problem with social media addiction is boredom, basically? I mean, that's
I would say
essentially how it
nowadays. Yeah,
happens. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
And what about Instagram is so addicting for you? Like, what do you do on Instagram? You send messages, you watch reels, you scroll through posts. So what do you do?
When I first open up Instagram, usually I open up to see did someone send me any DMs.
Yeah.
Um, that's the first thing, and then I look. I see that there's a DM. Usually, what happens is I see that someone sent me a reel. Okay, and I click on the reel. I'll watch that reel, think it's funny, and then I don't know how this happens, but I happen to swipe down to see the next one,
Yeah, yeah. And then
and
it
then it
just
goes to something funny, and then that's what starts the cycle. I think I spend the most time on Instagram is just that.
okay, so it's just the reels. It's like the that short form entertainment.
Yeah, reels and stories. I like, and like DMs, like the shortest form of entertainment. That's what I look at like the most.
So, how do you get yourself to stop doing that? You know, I because once you start scrolling, you know, it's really hard to stop. You just think, oh, one more video, just one more video, one more video, and then it's 10 more videos at that point. Like, what is there anything you can do that you know works that gets you off of reels, or do you just have to let time take its course?
So when I stop looking at reels, one of multiple things happens. Either I swipe to the point where the quality of these reels are just like not as engaging anymore, or I've just seen too much of the same thing and I just get bored of it, and then I'm like, oh, what the hell, and then I get off the app, or um, I have something I have to do, and I see the time and I get off,
Oh, I
or
see.
uh, uh um let me think. Uh, or there's something that okay. The reason, yeah. See, so the reason why Instagram takes so much of my time when I'm when I'm at home, right, is because there's nothing to stop me from looking at Instagram. Like when I'm at school, I could be scrolling through these reels, right? But let's say I'm in class and then someone asks me something or like tells me something, I stop looking at the reels to talk to that person.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
without these in real life uh, distractions, you know, either boredom or in real life distractions, that's how I stop.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I have the same problem where like, once there's not enough distractions, then all I can do is just scroll. But one thing I do that works is I have a screen time limit for 15 minutes on Instagram. And it's not like I actually limit myself to 15 minutes a day, realistically, but it does make it so that even if I click like extend another 15 minutes, it'll at least make sure that I'm only on the app for 15 minutes at a time. So once I'm done scrolling, like it'll just tell me like, hey, you've been on the app for 15 minutes. Your time's up again. And then I'll say, okay, I guess I'll just get off now. And I
Yeah,
think that is pretty helpful.
during the school year, actually, now that you mentioned it, I had this app called Opal
Oh, you actually
that,
tried Opal.
yeah,
Okay.
and I would just, the point of Opal was to make sure I don't go on Instagram at all during study time, except for during breaks. And during those breaks, you can set a 15-minute break on the app where you can look at the app.
Oh, I see.
Uh, And now that it's summer, I still got Opal, right? So Opal sets in a restriction on Instagram, YouTube, some other apps at 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. For me, like that's the settings that I have configured. But
I see.
so on weekdays, when I wake up, right, nowadays I wake up at like 10, 11, way past 9. So I wake up and instantly like it's blocked, and I'm like, what the hell? I don't have school. So the first thing I do now that it's summer is that I just go into the app. I say, remove this restriction
Okay.
for the day, and then I have none of that for the rest of the day. And now that you're mentioning this to me, I didn't think of this until right now.
You didn't even realize you were
Um,
doing that.
yeah,
Oh. So, yeah, so I mean, there's no incentive for you to still have the limit, right? Because you have so much free time.
yeah.
Okay. And so, do you think is there a way you can make it more restrictive so that you're not incentivized to just turn it off? Or is there a way to make it so that you can't turn it off? Or I guess they can't restrict you that much.
Um, I don't. Yeah, there's no way. Uh, the what they do is each time you disable it, you have to the next time you want to disable it, there's like a cooldown, and you have to wait like 20 seconds. You have to wait like 30 seconds.
Oh, I see.
Um, you have to be on the app for 30 seconds and wait for the timer to come down and then disable it.
Oh,
And
okay.
it keeps increasing every time.
Yeah, that does sound like it's more useful than the screen time feature on iPhone. Yeah, I mean, it shows you your stats, right? Has it shown that you've gotten better at not using your phone, or has it not really changed much?
During the school year, when I actually cared about this stuff, yeah, um, definitely.
Oh, okay. But now
Like
it's
it
just it
shaved
doesn't
off.
matter.
Yeah, back in the day, it shaved off like 2 hours. Like I was doing like 6 hours a day on my phone. It shaved it down to like 4 hours.
Oh, that's pretty
Now it
good.
might as well be at like eight, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter if you're doing it in the summer when you don't have other responsibilities. I think the problem is when you do it when you should be doing other things, not necessarily if you have a lot of free time. So yeah, I think if it's good that it works during the school year because that's when you kind of need it most, right? I mean, you need to restrict yourself to make sure you're not losing track of time or, getting lost in the doom scrolling.
Yeah.
And I'll just ask you one more question. Um, What game do you think would be the best for people to start with when they're first starting to play games? Let's say it's a kid, elementary school, he wants to start playing games. What game should he get to start off?
Ooh, could I do like three or just one?
Okay, you can do three.
Okay, and this is for like little kids, right?
Yeah, to start off, something to get them healthily into gaming.
Okay, so like no like with like age restrictions and stuff.
I mean, if you think age restrictions don't matter, then you don't have to listen to them, but what do you think?
Okay, I'll say Skyrim.
Skyrim?
Uh,
Okay.
would have said Arkham Asylum, but I feel like that might be too dark for a kid.
Is that Batman?
Yeah. Um, Minecraft
Okay, yeah, Minecraft's good. I agree with that.
and probably Mario. To be honest, like they should definitely like
Yeah,
be able
that's
to
my
appreciate
answer, to be
those
honest.
games.
I think Mario is pretty
Any of
good.
the Mario games,
Yeah, exactly.
any of the Mario games that involve like the parkour, I think they should play.
Wasn't that most Mario? You mean not the Mario and Sonic, the Olympic Games or something, or you mean
Yeah,
the?
yeah, like no, like there's like sports spin-offs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Mario
yeah,
Kart. I feel like they should just appreciate the world design and just the simplicity of like the traditional Mario games.
yeah. I agree. Super Mario Bros. Wii was my favorite to start with because that's what I started with. But that game was so good.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I played that and I played Skylanders. But looking back, I don't think Skylanders. I think Skylanders was just a cash grab.
Skylanders is a bit of an expensive hobby, but I think it was pretty fun too.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's all.
Um.
Thanks for coming on the show, Kabir.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
All right, take care.
These